Marcus Webb had been pushing a mop through the marble floors of Crestline. Financial for 11 years. Every morning he arrived before sunrise, brewed the first pot of coffee in the break room, and quietly disappeared into the background while executives in tailored suits hurried past him without a second glance. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small moments to change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories. Also, tell us in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? He was a single father raising 2 daughters after his wife passed away from cancer 3 years ago. He worked double shifts on weekends, helped with homework at midnight, and never complained once. Nobody asked him about his life. Nobody really saw him at all. To the 400 employees of Crestline Financial, Marcus was simply part of the building, like the elevators or the fire exits, useful, silent, and completely taken for granted. But that was about to change on a Tuesday morning that nobody at Crestline would ever forget. The company was in the middle of the biggest merger in its history, a deal worth $100 million that had taken 18 months of negotiations, legal battles, and sleepless nights to reach. The signing was scheduled for 9 o'clock sharp. At 8:45, the lead technology team discovered that the entire digital contract system had crashed. The proprietary software that held every document, every digital signature, and every legal clause had gone completely dark. The servers were responding with an error code that none of the 5 IT specialists in the room had ever seen before. The CEO, Daniel Hargrove, stood in the glass-walled conference room watching his team sweat through their shirts. His face had turned the color of ash. The representatives from the merging company were already in the lobby, checking their watches. Legal advisors were making frantic calls. Someone suggested flying in a consultant from New York. Someone else said that would take 6 hours. The room was in silent, suffocating panic. Marcus was mopping the hallway just outside the conference room. He was not supposed to be there. He had finished that wing already, but the cleaning cart's wheel had jammed and he had stopped to fix it. Through the glass wall, he watched the chaos without meaning to. He saw the error code projected on the large screen at the front of the room. He stopped moving. He stared at that code for about 4 seconds. Then, without fully understanding why he was doing it, he knocked on the conference room door. The assistant nearest to the door looked at him with irritation and shook her head. Marcus knocked again, gently but clearly. Daniel Hargrove, desperate and out of options, held up a hand to silence the room and called out, "What is it?" Marcus opened the door just enough to speak. He said quietly, "I think I know what that error is." The room went completely still. Someone let out a short, disbelieving laugh. Daniel stared at the man in the gray uniform holding a mop handle and said, in a voice that was more exhausted than dismissive, "Go ahead." Marcus walked to the keyboard, asked permission with a look, and when Daniel nodded, he typed a sequence of commands that took him less than 30 seconds. The screen flickered. Then the system came back to life, every document intact, every signature field restored, the entire platform running perfectly. The silence that followed was unlike anything that room had ever held. Daniel Hargrove walked slowly toward Marcus and asked him how he knew that. Marcus explained that before his wife got sick, before the medical bills swallowed everything, he had been a software engineer for 8 years. He had worked on legacy systems exactly like this one. When the money ran out and the hospital debt piled up, he had taken the first job he could find that offered steady hours, so he could be home for his daughters. He had been mopping floors ever since. The merger was signed at 9:14 that morning. 15 minutes late, $100 million intact. That afternoon, Daniel Hargrove personally walked to the maintenance wing and offered Marcus a full-time position as a senior systems consultant with a salary that made Marcus sit down in his chair and press his hands over his face. He accepted. His daughters cried when he told them that night. The whole company talked about it for weeks. But what Marcus remembered most was not the job offer or the applause. It was the look on his daughters' faces. The proof that their father, the quiet man with the mop, had always been extraordinary. Never judge a person's worth by their title. Greatness does not announce itself. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness True Stories, where we bring you powerful, real human moments that remind us what truly matters.